Oh, all right, and we can cut the stream. That was it. That was that's all we needed.
Good night.
To do. Good night, everybody.
That's everything I
Good
needed.
talk.
Hello. I believe Jimmy has a new endearing name for you all of you lovely viewers. So I'll let him say hello to you, and then I will bring on the show.
I was going to use it mostly for people who like me, so this probably only applies to 10% of your subscribers, Kyle. But hello, pumpkins.
I think you're gaining on them slowly but surely. I think the events over the past couple of weeks have really endeared you to the fan base. So you're back there. We made up for the scam thing in Ad Homies. Finally.
Oh my God. Okay, let's never bring that up again. That we have an actual. Let's put that in a box and send it off to see. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hello, Shannon and Jimmy. Shannon, why don't you introduce the show and tell everybody what we're doing here tonight?
Sure. This is going to be a little bit wordy, so
it usually is with you.
You know what? I'm going to let it pass just this once because I'm angrier at somebody than I am at you for once in my life. So just bask in that. Just let that sit with you. So there is I guess, conglomeration of churches that fall under the guise of I believe it's the New Independent Fundamental Baptist, the NIFB, that has decided that they're going to put on a conference called Make America Straight Again. And they are doing this during Pride Week in Orlando, in and around the anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting. And they are doing this on purpose because this particular reprehensible group of disgusting humans actually advocate for capital punishment for anybody who falls on the LGBTQIA spectrum. Anybody essentially who isn't a cis straight person, which is, you know, pretty much everybody here.
Most of the audience here. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody in this stream. So they advocate for capital punishment against those people and believe that they should in fact be marginalized in society. Now, not only are they doing that, but they have decided to come after one of our illustrious co-hosts this evening who has a huge piece of my heart, and that is our friend.
Well, they came after Jimmy, not me.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
Let
I
me
must
have
have
something
misspoke.
once.
No, you can't have any nice things. You can't have any nice things.
Hold on.
None. Zero nice things. So they made a pretty horrible video utilizing Jimmy in order to further their agenda. And
I mean, full disclosure, I made a video about them first. They made a video called Make America Straight Again Conference, and they were promoting it. In it was the thing Shannon was just describing about the delighting in the Pulse nightclub shooting, calling for capital punishment for homosexuals. And because it is an incitement to violence, which is my exact line for deplatforming, literally that's my line, I utilize my platform to deplatform them, though thus far only their video, not their channel, ... yet. So just in full disclosure, it wasn't unprovoked. They're just in the wrong by a ton.
Oh, by a pretty wide and insurmountable margin. They are in the wrong. They've been reprehensible for a very, 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 very long time. And it's about time that all of us as a community started doing something about it, I think. So after you watch this stream, if you haven't, I'm sure most of you already have, and if you haven't, you definitely should go over to Mr. Atheist channel, and please check out the most recent video that he has posted. That will explain why all of us have pumpkins in our Twitter in our Twitter handles currently, because they have given him the moniker of Mr. Pumpkin, because pumpkin, apparently, according to them, is the biggest fruit. So,
which I will say, because we were talking about earlier how much more right we are than they are on this issue. This is that one spot where they were more right than me. My initial reaction to pumpkin was that a pumpkin is a squash, therefore it's a vegetable, but it is culinarily a vegetable, but it is technically literally a fruit. So I will concede that point. Now, by volume, technically a jackfruit is the biggest fruit, and then Kyle, and then like 7 down is me.
That's fair.
So I'm Mr. Pumpkin and Kyle's Mr. Jackfruit.
All of that checks out. I don't think I have an emoji for jackfruit though, so we'll stick with pumpkin.
I don't either.
So
anyway, what would they be then? They're sour,
Brussels sprouts,
salty.
No one likes
pickles.
I like
raw, boiled, unseasoned Brussels sprouts.
Yeah. Basically,
so I see them as like raw roadkill, personally.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's fine.
That's an insult to the roadkill. Basically, these
Somebody
people
might like another food.
are absolute garbage humans, and it's been our pleasure all day long to not only give it back, as it were, to these douchebags, but to really, really cave some heads in. I think Jimmy scored the biggest point when he actually bought something that I could not believe he was able to buy, and I'm gonna let Jimmy explain what he did, and then we'll actually show you the result of what happens when you don't do your due diligence and you're a public figure.
So my video today was a response. Basically, the pastor made a response to my initial video, calling me Mr. Pumpkin, the biggest fruit ever, said I'm a pansexual, so I don't even know if I'm a boy or a girl, which is not what that phrase means. And his name is Tommy McMurtry. And so I made a video today, and I'm not going to lie, I'm trying to win the award for Clapback of the Year, because I put a little work into this one. and when you watch it, you'll notice that I call him by name probably 15-20 times. I say his name, Tommy McMurtry, through the video, because I want that to stick in your head. Because of a domain name that I've purchased, TommyMcMurtry.com. That's right. This public figure did not think to buy his own name as a domain name. And I will put that in the live chat now so people can take the link.
We're going to show it on the screen.
Okay.
Dave's going to pop it up. And by the way, guys, just this is going to be very prevalent. Right, Dave? Throw up TommyMcMurtry.com, Dave.
This is what I've decided to do. Now, for the record, as you can see here on the website, this website has nothing to do with Tommy McMurtry. And then could you just scan over, put a cursor over any of those photos? Nothing to do with Liberty Baptist Church or Tommy McMurtry. Now, some people think that I put that in there so that the search engine optimization would see all the use of the phrases Liberty Baptist Church and Tommy McMurtry. But in reality, that's not why. I just want to make sure everybody understands what this site is for. I have gotten almost everything up there that was submitted to me as of like 4 o'clock my time today. I will be this evening adding everything else in. Now, if you have a drawing, an animation, or a picture that is fully licensed and you're okay with being on this website, you can also send that artwork to Tommy McMurtry Pumpkin at gmail.com.
There's somebody in the live chat that I don't know if they're picking or not, and this is what worries me. They just very calmly said, "I fucked a pumpkin once."
Okay,
that's
listen.
Your live chat.
All right, I want to stay on topic. I want to stay on topic as much as we can tonight, but I want to address this specifically for a moment.
Yes.
I've never fucked a pumpkin. Yes. However, I want to say, as most people who have ever experienced male puberty can attest to, your mind gets fucking weird. And basically, there are no two objects that are close together that you don't really think, I wonder what it would be like to fuck that. So I just want that out. Like we had, and this is another thing I never did fuck, mostly because of the mess that I didn't think would be practical to clean up. But we had the most seductive couch growing up. It had these couch cushions with this like trim on the side. And I'm just saying, when you're
Dave, cut his mic.
Puberty gets so.
No pillow is safe. No pillow is safe.
You know what's funny though is there are people agreeing. Like all of us remember. all of us remember who are at least not asexual and have gone through male puberty, that it just makes you fucking weird. You get weird. And that's just the case. By the way, whoever George Mayer is in your live chat, he is my actual hero because he keeps refreshing Matt Powell's 5-minute timeout like every 2 or 3 minutes.
Matt Powell, he popped in. He got a line in where he said, "This is so amusing." Matt Powell, you haven't even seen amusing yet.
We're not done. You're not going to find anything I have to see amusing really soon.
Now, I want to make sure that everyone understands where we're getting ready to go here, because we would never, ever advocate that anyone take the steps that we're about to detail here. Never. This is just go ahead, Shannon.
An aside. This is just an aside. Just last night, just completely separately, after listening to all of the hateful, bigoted rhetoric and the calls for violence and bigotry against a community that means a lot to me, I just, as completely separately, decided that, you know what, I use PayPal. PayPal's how Patreon pays me, and I also have a one-time donation link for PayPal. I should make sure that I completely adhere to PayPal's terms of service, because if I'm going to be utilizing PayPal as a platform to give me money so that I can support the things that I do, I should just make sure that I'm in line and completely and totally adhere to their terms of service. So I came across something fascinating in section F, which you can find in my description. I took it out of the PayPal terms of service and put it in my description, completely separate. This is just an aside, along with a link to PayPal and to PayPal's reporting site. Because if you think that I'm not adhering to them, if you think that anybody is not adhering to what I'm about to say, I'd strongly suggest, as a conscientious consumer, that you report people that do not adhere to this to PayPal, because lots of people use PayPal, because you may not realize this, but anybody who takes credit card donations through their websites needs to find a third-party vendor. In order to facilitate that, they can't just go directly into their bank accounts. Most of them, if you look at the source code on their websites, which some people might do, you would realize that they have to utilize PayPal in order to get their money to do the things that they do. So here's an excerpt. Here's an excerpt from PayPal's ethical conduct terms of service, which, as I mentioned, I linked in the description right next to where you can go and report people to PayPal if they're violating these terms of service. So under section F, it says the promotion of hate, violence, racial, or other forms of intolerance that is discriminatory, or for the financial exploitation of crime. So that's one of the things that violates PayPal's policy, and that will have your account suspended and frozen. And it will also stop you from ever being able to use PayPal to facilitate donation links. Separately, back to the topic that we're talking about, just in case you're interested, also in my description, you can go and see the NIFB list of affiliate churches by name, and also a direct link to the donation site. Not that I would suggest you donate to them, but if you are so inclined, who am I to stop you? I wouldn't endorse it. To the Liberty Baptist Church, so that you can see exactly what one of those donation links look like, and also a link directly to the NIFB website, where their church directory links you directly to all of the other websites where you can find their donation pages. Not that I would endorse you to donate to any of those churches. However, back to my other conversation, if I, for any reason, violate those terms of service that I've made it easy for you to go look at, please feel free to report me. As a matter of fact, I think you should. As a conscientious consumer, make sure that somebody who would, not saying anybody is, but if you think that I am propagating hate or utilizing funds that are directed to me through this website that has a very, very, very clear terms of service, if you think I'm violating that, it's well within the consumer guidelines for you to just go and let them know that you think that's happening. Just saying. Separate issues.
I just want to, amongst all this talk of not endorsing and these hypotheticals, I do want to point out to people as well that PayPal actually does encourage you to report when it appears clear that there is a violation. So without commenting on any specific channel or specific situation directly, if you have located media and things of that nature that you feel actively demonstrates the breaking of these terms, then I fully endorse you taking it into your own hands and reporting those entities. Yeah,
absolutely. I would encourage you, like me, anybody else here in this, like, because you know what? If somebody reported
me, don't report me. You could probably find shit on me. Don't do that.
I'm sure that it's going to come at me, and that's fine, because I would rather be temporarily inconvenienced by having somebody mass false flag my PayPal so that I can, I don't know, make sure that the people that do violate the terms of service are held accountable for their actions and aren't funded through a platform that has made it very, very, very clear that their ethical standards have been violated. And that's written right in. When you hit I agree, you agreed to that.
Right.
Here's the thing too.
Like my description. Feel free to go peruse it.
Here's what you have to remember about this group. This group contains people that are having this conference on the same or the anniversary of Orlando. It contains people like Steven Anderson, who actively advocates for spousal rape. That when you say I do, that gives consent from that point on till the day that you die. This man has been banned from, what is it now, 30 countries, 30 some odd countries? 32 countries. Now, you don't get banned from 32 countries if you're not one of the lowest, shittiest human beings alive. Donald Trump is not even banned from 32 countries, and he's a fucktard.
By the way, the 32, as far as the 32 countries things go, the guy we were talking about at the beginning that my video is in response to, Tommy McMurtry brags about having just as radical rhetoric about homosexuality, calling for them to be killed, calling for how they're basically just lost in total poison and keep them away from people. and that his stuff is just as bad, if not worse, and yet he hasn't been banned. And it's mostly because he doesn't have the media coverage that Steven Anderson has. And so, I'm just saying that I hope, maybe as an unintentional consequence of this, that Tommy McMurtry will now have that media coverage via extension, our conversation here, the videos I've made so far, and the videos that are certainly to come, that some of those countries. Now, is there any way to deport a natural born citizen? Because I'd be very interested in that.
I would be into that. I want to read what now earlier today, these cretins stopped by the live chat. This was earlier today, and I'm going to read to you what they said earlier today. Now, I want to first disclose that I invited them on here, knowing that they would be bitch made and not accept, and they didn't disappoint. They here's what they said.
That's good though, because I wouldn't have appeared on the same show as them.
Make America Straight Again says, Mr. Pumpkin will have a discussion. How cute. Tell him that he's the most pathetic, long-haired, sissified Twinkie I have ever seen. #Massa. To which I replied, Make America Straight Again. Why don't you come tell us yourself? You cowardice, pathetic, no-dick bitches for Jesus. To which he said, by the way, I want to thank you. It would not be possible for us to promote this conference in such a scale without your help. Old ways are still the best. Amen. You just have to kick the fence till the dogs wake up and start barking like crazy. All the people will wake up, and I mean all the Tata Twinkies. And so I'd like to say that you may be getting talked about, but I guarantee you when this is all said and done, the damage that's going to be done to your side is going to make you question whether you should have opened your fucking mouth and started this fight in the first place. Because I guarantee you, you started this shit, we're going to finish it. Guaranteed. Oh, and then he summed that up by saying, I can't stop by. We wouldn't want to get AIDS now, would we? Just want to throw that out there.
If it's one of the pastors, the casual use of amen just in the middle of sentences makes me think it's Pastor Boyle, but I don't know for sure. I did just look up because I wanted to know, and there are pumpkin spice Twinkies do exist, so I assume that's what I am now. But once again, as far as like
so basic,
of course they do.
Oh, I just started liking pumpkin pie like a month ago for the first time in my life, which is funny. Like it took me almost 30 years. Pumpkin. When he says Twinkies, I hear twink though, and I do not qualify as a twink. I don't know quite where I am because I'm not quite a bear yet. But as far as that and your assertion that I am a sissy, I'm 6'2" and 250. Just saying, we could work this out ourselves in a way that we both consent to and is controlled.
I think you're an otter. I think that's the classification you would be.
Right? I think you might be right. Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
Somewhere between that or a bear.
No,
I think bears. I'm not quite to the bear. Give me 20 years, but not yet.
You're not a bear yet.
He'd have to be sitting here with hold on. You'd have to be sitting here on the stream with one of these.
I gotta get back.
Of course, that's just under your desk. Because sure,
there's all kind of shit.
Yeah, no doubt. I've been around here. All of that makes sense.
I will. I'll work on becoming a bear using those pumpkin spice Twinkies. Is that something that one can order year round? Let's check Amazon.
I don't know, but you know what? Just to piss off these Make America Straight Again things, I'm actually gonna wear this thing.
Of course you are.
Apparently not.
Oh, we're also gonna take your calls, by the way.
We are.
So,
should I go ahead?
The number is on the screen. Yeah.
Yes.
They will set that up, and then you can ask Mr. Atheist, Shannon, or I some questions, and we will try to answer those for you.
If I can make a request, So to anybody who actually does go and watch the video I created, it's a 2-part video. The first one's a response to the initial video from Pastor McMurtry, and then the second part is like a call to action, much like this this hypothetical call to action about reporting actual hate speech and actual term violations that anybody wants to take on themselves. But these ones were a little more direct, though there's some hypotheticals in there as well, having to do with a video that I'm actually going to release tomorrow. It'll be a clip from today's video, and basically we're going to manipulate the fuck out of some search engine optimization, hypothetically anyway, and we're going to make sure that when anybody looks for these things, the first results they find are ours. If I can make a request, and I know it'll probably take a minute for Dave to grab it, but I wouldn't mind actually just showing that last 2 minutes of all of the community response to this of today's video, if that's all right with y'all.
Sure.
That was fun.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Cool. Yeah. So Dave, if you're able to get that, Kyle, I'm not going to be able to concentrate on calls.
Me either.
Oh god. You know what? From this perspective, though, it just looks like you're wearing like lederhosen.
I look like Larry King.
Hey, Jimmy, what am I getting, Jimmy?
More like Larry Kink. And the video I did today, it's called what did I call that video? Homophobes attacked me, we clap back.
Yeah. Last 2 minutes.
And then toward the end of it, probably like you'll see that other people start joining me on it. It's like the last 2 minutes or so. I can find the exact timestamp actually,
I'm the first one, Dave, if that helps you out.
Well, technically, I'm the first one because I set it up. That's what I was saying. Is I wanted to go to that timestamp.
Stealing Jimmy's thunder.
By the way,
no,
these are the 3 people up here are the ones that are always vying for the best hair. You now have a lineup here that is. You know what? I want to know what you think. Make America Straight Again conference planners. Who has the best hair? Is it the pumpkin?
I bet they've been thinking about that a lot, to tell you the truth.
The pumpkin, the gnome, or the Shannon?
I thought I was going to start with a T. Not going to lie.
Nope. I retired that. I thought about it. But I was like, nope.
I know. I could see the gears grinding in your head. I could tell.
Make sure we tip your tongue.
What timestamp?
Kyle, this Sunday. Oh yeah, I'm getting it here. Kyle, this Sunday we've got another show, and it'll be your turn to name it. But I would like to nominate Larry Kink live.
I like that. Hey, assholes! Over at Make America Straight Again. Is that a Larry King impression? I'm not even sure if I'm doing it right.
20 minutes and 15 seconds is where we need to start.
And before we start, I'd just like to say that, the chat just didn't listen to us earlier. We told them to absolutely not report anybody, and they went and did it anyway. And somebody was immediately demonetized and had their PayPal removed for hate speech.
Oh,
damn. Nobody listens when I tell them explicitly not to do something.
Sorry, not sorry.
Go ahead and do it anyway. And now the Make America Straight Again channel has absolutely no access to PayPal, and they can't have any funds affiliated with their activities.
But hey, this leather's for you.
I gotta tell you, that is wearing down on my soul.
Yeah.
It's up.
Told them not to.
Go ahead, Dave. Roll the tape.
That's it. A long time. And now it's time to show you, in the same vein of our Steven Anderson is not a secret homosexual video, which again was several creators on repetition. Let me get this video started. I'm not saying that Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. I'm just saying I don't know if he is.
I am not saying that Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. I'm just saying we don't really know.
I'm not saying Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. I'm just saying we don't actually know.
So I'm not saying that Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins, but we just don't really know.
I'm not saying Pastor McMurtry's attracted to pumpkins. I'm just saying we don't know.
I'm not saying that Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins.
That is so
I'm just saying that we don't really know.
I'm not saying Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins, but I am saying that we don't really know.
I'm not saying Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. I'm just saying we don't really know.
I'm not saying that Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. I'm just saying we don't really know.
I'm not saying that Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins.
Thank you, Josh.
I'm just saying we don't really know.
I'm not saying Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. I'm just saying we don't really know.
I'm not saying that Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. I'm just saying we don't really know.
Look, I'm not saying that Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins, but I am saying we don't really know for sure.
Look, I'm not saying that Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. I'm just saying that we don't, really know. We're not certain. It's possible. We should ask him.
I especially love Ocean's part at the end. Also, I love Dan calling him McMurtry.
Yeah.
Someone didn't read the script.
Dan was so but he's so cool when he delivers it. You know what I mean? Like it's just so. It's like he wants the truth. It's like he wants. Like there's truth that's wanted there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got you. A deep desire for that which is true. Yeah.
And we really should
call a channel.
I agree with Ocean. We really should ask.
I think we should ask.
Let's talk to.
I will make this promise. Right now. Tommy McMurtry, I don't know whether or not you're sexually attracted to pumpkins. I don't know your motivation for the speeches you've been going on and such. But I will tell you that if you explicitly respond to the question, are you, Pastor Tommy McMurtry, sexually attracted to pumpkins and or pumpkin-headed humanoids, I will play your response on my channel.
Yeah.
I might add some other things to it, but I promise that.
It'll all be within fair use. Absolutely.
Do it for the Lord.
Unlike it.
Okay? Don't do it for yourself. Do it for the Lord. The
Lord created.
He wants you to do this. As I walk through the valley of the pumpkins and squash, I will fear no evil, for the jack-o'-lantern is with me. What's the thing called? The top stalk? No, it's not a stalk. What is it?
Stem.
The top of the pumpkin. The stem. By stem.
Oh.
I'm gonna fuck that up now. God damn it.
Confession is good for the soul, Pastor.
Let's take a call. Let's go to Yep.
Goodness.
Let's go to caller. You missed your name.
Hello, Kyle. Hello, Shannon. This is Min. Ooh, noisy.
Hey, man.
I'm sorry. It's a bit noisy.
Yep.
Let me move to another location.
Man, we're gonna
Is
go a
it
little
better
quicker
now?
than we normally do because we have so many calls. So we're gonna go a little bit quicker than we normally do when we do this. So try to keep your question as there's a lot of people that are going to be calling in. So try to keep it as brief as possible so we can get through all of these. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
So all three of you can hear me clearly, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I just listened to what Shannon said about report the biggest on PayPal so they will not have the fund something. Yeah, but I mean, Shannon, so we know that if those people they receive the money from anyone, it's gonna be from their own groups, right? So I mean, do you think if we just allow them to have that, then I mean we can at least get a number how many biggest in that group funded to each other, so I mean we can deal with them in a better way.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think he's saying should we let them donate so that you can track them and tell how many
we don't
people
have any
are part of that.
We have no access to PayPal's analytics. And here's what I know at the end of the day. If a bunch of bigoted organizations see PayPal as an incredible tool for the proceeding of their organization, then I see that as an incredible tool to take away.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, they have very, very, very clear terms of service. And somebody said in my chat, and I agree with it, like, would you be okay with somebody reporting you to PayPal? Yes, I would. And here's why. One, if I am violating the terms of service, I should bring myself in line. I should be able to analyze myself. If you think legitimately that I'm violating the terms of service, go ahead and report me. Go ahead. If I am violating the terms of service, then I have no right to use that service. I agreed to those terms of service when I went in, and if somebody's in violation of them, they don't have a right to use it. Even aside from that,
right?
If they're most of their congregations locally are quite small. They're relatively small. Like if you look at their video, like they don't have a massive amount of a local congregation. But they are getting support externally through their websites, through these donation links. And those are the funds that they're using to pay for these trips, to book hotels, to make signs, to print off propaganda, to advertise. That's how
to be shitty humans.
Happen. Those things happen because people have the ability to give them funds via this method that they don't deserve to have because they're in violation of their terms of service. Now, if they're not in violation of their terms of service, then reporting them will do nothing because they'll survive it. Somebody reports me, it's a temporary inconvenience for me or a serious opportunity for introspection. And I don't do this for money anyway. God help me if I did. I would, and if I never make another cent and it means that they don't get another cent, fine. I'll do my channel for free if it means that they don't get another dime so that they can wander around the world telling people that gay people should be subject to capital punishment and that anybody outside of the cis spectrum doesn't have a right to exist in the world and that women who are in marriages can't be raped. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. If I have to sacrifice, if they're going to send people to mass flag me in retribution for them getting mass flagged and getting it taken away, fine. Shoot the arrows at me. I'll take it.
Fine. Mr. Atheist?
It's just too bad that not everything fits on a nice anagram, because I'd like to have something like make the NIFB a cash-only business again, but that doesn't fit so nicely like MAGA.
Yeah. Well, men, we're gonna move to the next call, but thank you for calling in, buddy. It's always good to talk to you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you. See you later.
Just mail all of your cash to the
Shannon.
NFIB through my PO box, and I'll pass it along.
Chip, you'll make sure it goes to the right place.
You
definitely won't.
Shannon's
Oh, it's my turn. Oh gosh, I always mess this up.
Already 18 missed calls or 18 people that couldn't get
I
through.
picked Maggie. Hi, Maggie. Can you hear us?
It's Peggy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Our call screener thought your name was Maggie. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Hey, Peggy.
Hi, Peggy.
Oh no, it's fine. I actually was in y'all's last call-in show with Paul.
Oh,
cool.
That's
pretty cool. I like it.
Well,
yeah.
What's going on, Peggy?
Hey, so I just wanted to first off tell y'all I appreciate everything y'all are doing. Y'all have no idea. It's more than I could ever say. Second of all, I just wanted to ask, like, when it comes to stuff like this, do y'all think activism is more important in times like this when stuff like this is happening than it would be in any other time?
I I think I wanted to point this out, and I'm glad that you asked the question that way. And I'm going to be very brief and then let Mr. Atheist and Shannon answer. But with all the drama that's been going on here recently and the divide that seems to somewhat exist, I want you to take a look at this is us. Like, this is who we really are in times of like when there are people going after members of the LGBTQ plus community. We don't stand by idly while those attacks are going on. We are proactive. This is who we are. And I think that you can take a step back and really look at everybody sort of banding together to take on these horrible people and these bullies, and we practice what we preach, so to speak. We're there, and so I think people can take a really good step back and see that in cases like this.
I was just going to say, as far as like the is activism necessary in times like this versus other times? The good news is there's never a time activism isn't necessary. Actually, that's kind of the bad news. But really, I mean, if we're just looking back in the past, there's always been a need for certain types of activism to represent different types of minorities, and so it's been a big driving force on my channel to represent. I use the phrase GRSM, and I'm hoping it catches on more because that way I won't have to explain it every time. But it stands for gender, romantic, and sexual minorities. Certainly, those aren't the only minorities I would stick up for, but that's been a big. My channel is a big outlet for my activism, and I very much enjoy doing my activism my way and attaching to causes that have the appeal that appeal to me and the way they perform. I don't much enjoy, there's certain types of activism where it's kind of like people are saying, hey, we've determined that this is what makes you an ally, and if you don't do it, we're going to call into question all of your allied record because you didn't basically read the script we wrote for you. Like Kyle, I'm not going to call out any specific instances, but yes, I think activism is extremely important, and the way we all get involved and the way that it works, the way that it appeases our own conscience the most is what we should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily care about people's well, it's not that I don't care. I do care. I do care about people's perceptions of me and my motivations. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I'm all about outcomes aligning with intentions. And my intention is for people like this just to feel the effects of their actions back at them. Now, if somebody's going to call into question my motives, fine, do it, whatever. You can never know it. The only person who can tell you is me, and you may not trust me. So that is what it is. And Kyle does it. That is what it is. I can't change that. All I can do is act in accordance with my principles and do what I think is right in any given situation. Now, sometimes you're going to agree with that, and sometimes you're going to ardently disagree with that. And we can have conversations moment by moment based on the situation that we're in and the context. But in this situation, there is a clear right. There is a clear imperative that should be followed by anybody that's paying attention and watching what's going on. It has to be. Like, it just couldn't be clearer. Like, it's a
zero nuance.
There is no nuance in this situation. So to get back to your question again, Peggy, which is activism important? Yes, activism is always important because as long as there are people, there are going to be bad actors. And as long as there are people, there are going to be people that question the motives of activists. Fine. So long as the outcome, or at least we drive towards a better outcome, then that's all I can ask for. All I can do, like I said, is act in accordance with my principles. And yes, there's always a need for activism in every society. So long as there's people fucking shit up, there's going to be a need for people trying to correct the course. If that makes sense.
And the original question, The original question was whether or not we see activism as important compared to other times, but I think you can see that it is clear that the three of us together, being three people who are very affectionate and loving of each other, have recently had our own activism and motives called into question. So we're still a little rough from that. Just a touch.
Just a little bit.
Question me, just like whatever. It's fine. I don't.
Yeah.
Fine.
What do you,
I'm just
what do you
going
think?
back to my principle.
What do you think, Peggy?
I think that those are great answers, and it's really great. And also, Jimmy, I just want to let you know, I really appreciate the acronym you have been using as someone who is pan-romantic, and a lot of times my romantic orientation isn't recognized by many people. So I want to let you know I am very appreciative of that.
It's part of why I started doing it myself, because I'm not quite the inverse, but I'm pansexual gynoromantic, which means that as far as fucking goes, I'm going to fuck anybody. As far as romance goes, I tend to be attracted to presentations of femininity. Now, that isn't to say a lot of people think gynoromantic means I only am romantically attracted to women, and that's not the case. But femininity is certainly something that when it comes to romance, for some reason, is more likely to be the thing that pulls me. It's not universal, though. There's this one guy. Anyway, so I totally I am a big fan of people recognizing outside of the sexual spectrum that there is also a romantic spectrum, and so I just think GRSM covers so much better everything. Now, there are people who try to inject things into that, just like they try to inject the plus at the end of LGBTQIA plus. But the biggest thing is that GRSM, for me, it's honestly that I've had several conversations and things with people who say, hey, I'm from this group, which you're putting on this letter on LGBTQIA plus, or if I use a longer one, like QQIIA plus, which is actually one of them. And so there seems to be less conflict about whether or not people don't want to be associated with GRSM, with the exception of some people who think that they are covered for things that aren't related to consent. And GRSM still insists on consent. Y'all people can go fuck yourselves. The ones that think that that's not important. Anyway, sorry, I just went on a totally side note. We can
Totally fine.
Move right along.
Peggy, did that answer your questions?
Yeah. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you for calling in. Okay, let's no
problem.
Let's go to
your turn.
Let's go to Love Your Nerves here. Love Your Nerves.
Oh, I like that name.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, am I on?
It seems to be.
Oh, sweet. Oh, hey, I'm Roger Turner. Yeah, I was in the chat earlier when the Make America Straight guys came in and, or Straight Again guys came in and needed their PayPal reported. So I went through the process, and I figured anyone else who wanted to go through the process like you guys were outlining earlier, I've been through
You're
it
the
once, so I
person
can
who
help.
didn't listen to us.
I went all through PayPal. What's that?
Are you the person who didn't listen to us when me and Kyle explicitly said absolutely we wouldn't endorse anybody reporting this group for violations of service? Is that you?
I feel like shouldn't it be don't unless you've assessed a situation and you've made the decision, independently made the decision for yourself that a clear violation has occurred, in which case that is what that system in place is.
You're aware there's a character limit in YouTube chats, aren't you? You're aware of that, right, Jimmy? I couldn't write in your
Kyle's just a homophobe.
No. I am.
I just want to call Kyle a homophobe.
No prompting from anyone else. I decided on my own that they had violated PayPal's terms of service. I searched through the PayPal website and couldn't find a real formal process to report them, but I did find their customer service number, and I was able to call that. From there, again, there was nothing in the voice prompt system that really was geared around reporting violations, but I did get to problems with your account is what finally got me to a CSR. From there, I just made them aware of that page, and while while he was on the phone with me, the CSR pulled up their YouTube channel, saw the donate link, and was just immediately like, no, this is a problem. Nope, we do not condone this. I'm reporting this immediately. Thank you. I reported the church in the same way, but I assume that's probably a bigger investigation than what was obviously those trolls earlier.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But they said that they gave you every indication that they would be seriously looking into this, and that there were red flags that were popping up.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. On the first group, they shut down immediately. On the second group, they said they had to review it, but that they, and the way they phrased it was that they wouldn't be able to release account-sensitive information about their accounts to me, but that they would call me up and let me know if my report had any actions associated with it.
Uh-huh.
And they
might be
no
dealing with
I'll definitely keep you guys posted. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
The assassin.
Roger just didn't listen to us.
Yeah,
We
just
said, you know.
No, I'm a rebel.
What row?
He's a rebel. He's a say. Hey.
Well,
None
good
of
work.
us. There definitely was a massive group of atheist content creators and polytheist content creators, and also some Christian content creators earlier today applauding Roger for his initiative. That definitely didn't happen.
Yes.
Well done,
You
Roger.
did good work.
I very much.
Yes.
I appreciate you independently coming to that conclusion and acting on it when you saw that that was necessary. I think that is an extremely admirable thing to do.
If you were here, we would pin the Mr. Atheist Medal of Pumpkin
I don't like
on
that
you.
type of behavior either. So.
Mr. Atheist Medal of Pumpkin.
I don't think
You
Roger
would get the
deserves
Medal of Pumpkin.
the honor that he's getting.
Yeah.
Kyle,
I'd definitely show.
You would get the Mr. Atheist Medal of Pumpkin pinned on you in honor of your service.
I nominate you, sir.
To society in general.
Kyle, thank you for the merch idea. I hope you don't sue me when I do that. When I make
anyone that's wounded, anyone that's wounded in this war, you get a purple pumpkin.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Well, thanks, Roger, for calling in, and again, we appreciate everything that you did today. Good work.
Oh yeah, absolutely my pleasure, and keep on doing what you're doing. Thanks for everything you guys do.
I mean, not good work. You should have listened to Shannon and I. But if you had have listened, it would have been a fantastic job, Roger. Okay, Shannon.
But before we move on, I want to address something that's happening in Shannon's live chat. Someone asked whether or not Kyle is that one guy who's the exception to my my gyno romanticism, which again, for people who don't know, that is people who have, it doesn't have to be an entirely, at least not for me, but somewhat of a feminine presentation. Kyle is not that exception because Kyle is not an exception to gyno romanticism. What I'm saying is, I'm talking about, I know a guy who's like a fucking lumberjack who I would just marry. Kyle still falls in line with what I'm attracted to romantically. Just saying.
Do you guys need me to leave?
I don't get. Can you say that in English that I would understand?
Yeah, you still fall on the feminine side of things as far as what I'm romantically attracted to.
Do I really?
I was saying.
That's the first time I've ever heard that. Usually people can't believe that I'm gay.
You're like a Southern princess.
I'll take that. You know what?
It was all.
That might be the nicest thing that anyone's ever said to me.
So awkward.
Yeah.
I declare that was so
getting
sweet.
the vapors.
Let me pull out my kerchief. Oh,
I'm
someone
taking
said just date off.
ourselves. I don't eat whatever. That's fine.
Shannon, it's your turn.
Oh my god.
Someone said just date already.
I just randomly selected somebody. Wilson. Wilson? Can you hear us? Hi, Wilson.
I can hear you.
Save me.
Hello.
Save me.
Are you a volleyball?
Hello?
Are you a volleyball?
Wilson!
I am a volleyball.
Cool.
I'm sure he's never heard that.
What's your question, Wilson?
My question was, do you think that speech, no matter how hateful, should be just censored?
Good question.
In the long answer, short answer, no.
Yeah, short answer,
Wait,
no
the
for
wording
me.
of the question is unclear. We need to make sure we get the question right before responding with yes or no's. Do we think that speech, no matter how hateful, should be censored? I think I understand what you're saying, but I think you're saying should all speech be allowed, not should all speech be censored, correct?
Oh, not all speech should be allowed.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the reason I asked that is for the fact that I live relatively close to Dayton, Ohio, which just sponsored a Klan rally.
Mm-hmm.
And they spent almost $750,000 to protect 15 people.
Good.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. No, I don't think that all speech should be protected, for the record.
Yeah, not all speech. Like anything that incites violence, I don't think should be protected. But people have the right to have, say shitty things and have shitty ideas, and it's up to the people, like what's happening in this case, to respond to those ideas. I don't think that censorship of these bad ideas leads to any beneficial outcome. The only speech that I think should be censored are the speech that, like, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater, that sort of thing. Anything that would incite people to violence. Other than that, people are allowed to be shitty human beings and say shitty things, but those people are also they have to pay the consequences for those words that they choose to use. So,
I
entirely agree.
I think I'm with Kyle and probably Jimmy on that. Is that I don't think that you should censor necessarily any speech, with the exception of speech that's a direct call to violence against somebody or call to cause harm against somebody. That's where it becomes nuanced, because then you have to go into the definition of harm. But I would say, physical harm would be my line. If you start to segregate speech, like if you start to classify certain segments of speech as not permissible, then you're missing an opportunity to educate people. Like, people being able to articulate their shitty ideas is how you realize they have shitty fucking ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And if you don't realize that they have shitty ideas, you can't start to make some groundwork with changing their mind and changing the minds of people that they may have influence over. All you're doing, if you're saying to somebody, shut your mouth, you can't say that, is forcing them into a corner with other people who already think like they do, as opposed to allowing them to be, and this isn't for everybody. Not everybody needs to engage with you when you're shitty. And I think that that's where some people find an overlay. They think that just because you think people should be allowed to say horrible, reprehensible things, that means that everybody should have to engage with people that say horrible, reprehensible things. But that's not what it means. It means that they should be allowed to say horrible, reprehensible things so that you can address the horrible, reprehensible things. It doesn't mean you, it means somebody. I'm somebody who likes to address horrible, reprehensible things. I like to meet people where they're at, find out where it came from, and figure out what I can do to change it. Not everybody's going to want to do that, and not everybody should do that. And you should always take your own mental health, physical health, and personal well-being into account before engaging in these types of conversations. But if you just build a wall and say you can't say these things, all you're doing is segregating people to their camps where they can propagate those
ideas. And so, even assuming that the idea dies with that, then somebody's going to come along later and wonder why it's taboo, and they're going to go look into it again.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as, I'm probably going to be the most radical, I guess, on this topic, because there's a little bit that I want to make sure. And actually, they might not even disagree with these things, but
it could be a clarification
more where it's important to push past freedom of speech, and right to free speech is not the same as right to platform. So as far as, like, if you come to my Discord and you start using the N-word, I don't have a race test. So I'm not going to say who is and who isn't allowed to use the N-word. It's a flat out ban, because even if someone says no, I get to use that word because of such and such. It would be way more racist of me to include a race test on my channel over something over making that. So as far as like, there are places that there are set rules. You don't have a right to a platform. When I deplatformed that video, the Make America Straight Again, I understood that the nuance of the words they used would not hold up in court. So I didn't call for them to be arrested, even though it's an implicit incitement to violence. I did, however, make sure that the terms of use on YouTube were held to. So I absolutely took away that that single videos platform, and you better believe, because of some of the other content, that given the opportunity, I'll take down their whole fucking channel. Deplatforming, depending on the platform. If something advertises as a public space, then that should have equal access, except for those same lines as the Constitution. But the terms of service on a website, or even attending a rally or a TED Talk or whatever else, those don't protect you from being censored in those locations. So I have no problem with that level of deplatforming, though I think it should be done responsibly. And if you do have a service, let's say that YouTube tomorrow, just basically everybody who works for them, it became their evil twin, became just an alt-right platform. At that point, it would be the responsibility of creators to either leave it if they haven't already, and to try and expose that platform also as extremely biased, because there is so much bias across so many platforms. So a criticism of platforms is valid, and you have no right to any of those platforms either.
Right. Which is why I say, if you want to report me, report me. I mean, it doesn't go for everybody else here. That's me speaking for myself. But I feel like I'd survive that fire test. And on top of that, I don't think that, and I'm not saying report me, but
report her, not me.
You shouldn't report people simply because they disagree with you. That there's a line, and that line is like, and in this case, it's not even fucking fuzzy.
Yeah.
Homosexual people and transgender people should be imprisoned and subject to capital punishment, which I'm not sure if you realize that is fucking death. That's not a lot. Like that's not fuzzy. That's not fuzzy. People trying to propagate those ideas and cultivate those ideas need to have the rug pulled out from underneath them. They just do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we all agree. Wilson,
so what I'm saying is
question?
that everyone who disagrees with me should be taken off of TV and YouTube.
Yeah,
and killed.
That's what Jimmy's saying. I don't endorse whatever Jimmy said. Yeah.
Oh, no, really? I thought we were going all the way tonight.
It's just going to be.
God damn it!
Just going to be 24 hours.
Wilson, does that answer your?
Don't make me cut you off, Kyle.
Does that answer your question, Wilson?
Yeah, I think so. I appreciate it.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night. Okay, we'll try to fit these last three in, and then we'll wrap things up. Let's go with Isaac. You've been on for a while. Isaac.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, Isaac.
Hi, Isaac.
What's on your mind?
Hi. Okay. Well, I had I'm not exactly sure exactly how to phrase it, but do you think that advocating against this kind of extreme level of homophobia in any way detracts from like the more casual homophobia? Because I mean, people have far more casual, not like kill gay people, but they still kick out like their gay kids or their trans kids over this kind of stuff, even though they're not nearly as homophobic or transphobic.
Good
not as
question.
I think I got that's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think not to I'll be brief, but not to a large extent. I think in certain cases things like that have to be sort of targeted and it's situational based because you're dealing with family dynamics. I think that this sends a strong message to the person that could potentially be kicked out, that there are communities out there that are welcoming to them, that will accept them for who they are, and they can feel like they have somebody that has their back. So I think it goes a lot further for the person who is in that position being threatened with getting kicked out, more so than it does affecting the person who's doing the kicking out. I think that it's good for people to see that there's communities out there that they can feel like themselves and gets advice or help, resources, that sort of thing. So that's how I would see it.
Regarding whether or not this is going to help more casual, help get rid of ultimately more casual uses of homophobia, I 100% think so. But the main reason is right now we have not just me, but a lot of people saying we're going to have this conversation because this is fucked up. But in general, that puts this conversation in the forefront of more and more people's minds. And that includes people who are unaffected by homophobia in their daily life, who are unaffected by transphobia. And it means that we are going to be starting new conversations, and in their interest in picking the right side, and the sides here are clear, more conversations are going to happen. And as long as they have the same, I guess, open-mindedness that they had coming to an issue like this that doesn't even require an open mind, those conversations are going to lead to an overall improvement in the way they interact with people who are GRSM. And I genuinely think going after the big things starts going after one big problem and doing one big protest starts millions of little conversations. Now, I'm not saying I'm starting millions of little conversations. That'd be amazing, but I don't think I have that reach. Yeah, exactly. I hope any of us have the reach to start millions of little conversations, but those millions of little conversations are how things change. And when it's done right, look at overall GRSM acceptance. I was alive and able to was able to make homophobic thoughts. In other words, I've seen the whole thing change in my lifetime and have gone from being a terrible transphobe, homophobe, everything, frankly, racist and everything else, because I was a little shit, to not being those things, and that's in my lifetime, specifically with the GRSM community. I have seen maybe not as much right now with romantic acceptance. That's one that still people are pretty firm against, with a lot of things like polyamory and such. But with the specific issue of gay marriage, the radical change from an entire country disgusted and totally opposed to it to now a majority of the country not even being able to understand why we ever had that conversation in the first place. That's a huge change. And I think that was sparked by tons of large protests that led to millions of little conversations.
Right. I echo what both of them said. And I also, the communication junkie in me, it feels the need to acknowledge that this isn't subtle. Like, I don't know that anybody here is going to get a badge of honor for noticing how shitty this is. Because let's be honest.
Yeah.
There's no nuance here. It's clear. Like, it's clear. We definitely didn't coordinate and look up, terms of service and find literally every single church that's affiliated with this shitty conference and place it in my description so that people would have a nice handy dandy package if they were feeling as though they wanted to be motivated. But it's clear. Noticing it wasn't difficult. Noticing the more implicit biases is difficult. And that's where there's nuance. Like, there's instances where it's not as clear. There's instances where just flat out attack isn't always the best strategy. You're not there. It could be the case that in the circumstance that you're in, that person has been the victim of bad ideas that have fed those implicit biases, and that you simply educating them otherwise might make all the difference, might make the change. Just you getting to know them, just them getting to know somebody in the community, just them getting to know somebody who's an advocate for the community, just them becoming exposed to content like this might be the gate that starts to slowly creep open. Because just screaming at them that they're a bigot isn't going to change their mind. It's just going to make them think that you're one of the others, that they've already othered, and they can just throw you in that camp with everybody else, and they don't have to listen to a goddamn word you say, because they don't need to take you seriously. There's nuance. It's on a spectrum. Not every conversation you have is going to be the same, because they're all with different people, and not every situation that you're in is going to require the same approach, because they're all different situations. And if you look at them as though they are, you're going to have a serious problem that you're going to encounter very, very quickly, because people are going to shut down when they're talking to you, and people are going to push back against you, and you're going to wonder why, because you're right, and you can be right about what your goals are and approach them totally wrong. I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does to a certain degree.
Not at all.
God damn it,
But,
Kyle.
No, it does.
We'll go with it.
Nightmare.
Go with it. Isaac, does that answer your question?
Yep, that about answers it.
Thanks, Isaac.
Okay. Thank you, Isaac.
Yep.
Goodbye,
Yes, thanks.
Isaac. Okay. Shannon, I think it's you, right?
Is it me? Are we taking another one? I have some actually seriously good super chat questions too. Holy smokes. We've had over 200 callers. Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's intense.
How many lines do you allow to be open?
Apparently at least 224.
No, 4, but it keeps track. It keeps track of how many calls that tried to call in but couldn't because they were busy.
They don't.
Right now it's at 225.
I usually limit it to 4, but I think I usually only drop 2 or 3 by the time it's over.
Okay.
That actually sounds to me like something that's sticking out is you might want to email the because you use the same provider. I think that means something's fucked up on their end tonight.
Ooh, well, no, we usually get a lot of calls. I think
it's
intellectual iconoclast.
It's keeping
it keeps track of the
busy
people
sizzles.
that would call and all the lines.
And it didn't go through. Got it. Okay. I thought you were saying you have 4 lines open and 200 people have dropped their calls.
No.
Like, fuck.
I would be in debt. I would be in debt.
Yeah. I was saying, dude, this is $1,000 show. Damn.
Yeah.
No. 225.
Oh, God, no. You would see me freaking out over
Surgeon General.
I would pick up and smash my computer.
YouTube Surgeon General said that they called 196 times.
It was all them. Is this what?
Yeah, and let's say bye to Sandra. Sandra, I'm sorry you didn't get through. But, well, I tell you what. Hold on, Sandra. Maybe just hold on, Sandra. We'll try to get to you.
Give us a hold for 46 minutes.
If you keep it brief. Sure,
Is
go ahead,
this
Shannon.
intellectual iconoclast? Are you there?
Howdy.
Hi, I recognize you from Twitter, and I think you were on Heathen Hour once when I wasn't there. Back when we had Heathen Hour. If it's the same person.
Could be, maybe. Anyway, I'll keep it brief so that you can get to the person who called in faithfully a billion times. My question isn't for y'all, it's for Matt Powell, who I know is still listening. Why is it that you won't accept a debate, dude? Debate challenge. Challenge the queer dude. He might know a little bit more on the book than you do, and maybe that scares you or something. But yeah, Intellectual Iconoclasm has a challenge for you on modern day debate. He said he'd host it, he's emailed you, and you're just not talking back to him. So yeah, I know I'm a no-name, a guy who's hiding behind an anonymous username and all, but I have family as liberal as you think I am. They think I'm a jackbooted conservative, and I keep my identity under wraps for them. You think I want to be in another closet? Take up the challenge, quit being a pansy.
He is pretty. Intellectual iconoclasm, I have to say, is pretty.
You think he's pretty?
Okay, so this is a friend of yours. I was
Yeah,
about to
he's
like fucking call out
one of our
this person for platform hijacking. And it's
No,
just
no. He's fine.
Okay, you're
He's
friend.
fine.
Okay, then you're good, man. Yeah,
He
yeah.
actually bought Dexter's dog food for what,
Oh.
like 2 months. 2 months.
He's a good. He's one of our best patrons. He's the man.
Well, you
so
rock.
he can you can hijack it anytime. I'm kind of hurt that you
I'm
didn't
not
ask.
trying to
you didn't ask
hijack.
to
I
have
just
this
know you
debate.
don't want Powell back on your channel ever again.
Okay, good.
So
Okay,
prove that point.
good. Okay, I was getting ready to say a modern day debate when what we do is but now it makes sense. You were reading my mind. You knew that I didn't want that piece of shit back on here. So thank you for that, for not putting me in the predicament of having to tell you no, because I would have hated to do that.
He was thinking of you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So yeah, you want to give out your do you want to give out your email, or does he have your email? How do you want him to get in contact with you?
It's just intellectualiconoclasm@gmail.com. That's my public get a hold of me email.
Have you thought that maybe he doesn't know how to spell that?
It's spelt on the screen now.
Just saying.
Intellectual's not there though. He might have to Google that.
I'll put it
a lot of
into
syllables
in the
for-
chat again.
for a guy like him. Yeah, all right, cool.
Cool.
Matt Powell is
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Not a
right.
secret homosexual.
Not. Now I want to make it clear. We would never imply that he was, not with that that almost perfect twink form that he has.
Yeah.
The blonde hair. Never would it cross our minds that he was a homosexual, as some Southern preachers say. The homosexuals. Okay. Arson Tony, I see that you're back in the chat. If you continue to bitch and complain, I will hide you where you're not able to comment. And I'm not in the mood today. So don't fuck with me.
Can we do can we as a community decide to only refer to Matt Powell as Cupcake?
Yes.
I was going to call him.
yes.
That's our name, I guess.
I vote
We
yes.
can't call him
Cupcake.
then.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
And so
I just, if you
It
remember
is
in my
fitting.
video, in the
Matt
video I
Powell,
talked about, in the video where I talked about him and Josh Feuerstein and Steven Anderson, and I think there might have been a fourth, maybe it's just those three. But if you remember, I was eating a cupcake the whole time, and I realized that I missed an opportunity then to make that suggestion.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. All right, last call for the evening, and then we've got to move to super chats because we've got a lot of those, and it's getting.
Yeah,
Like,
People are saying, but I like cupcakes. What if it was mayonnaise flavored?
Sandra, I believe the auto screener got your name incorrect.
Yes, it always does. It is convinced that I am Sandra and not Isandring.
It's Isandring.
Hey, Sandring.
3 times. All 3
Welcome,
times.
Sandra.
Oh, Isandring, I'm sorry.
Welcome, Sandra. What can we do? What can we do for you, Sandra? I'm just kidding, Sandring. What's happening?
I feel like I should go down to the courthouse tomorrow and maybe make a change. Jeez.
I think it's a good idea. Why not?
Something I don't.
It'd
Why
be
not?
easier for all of us.
Exactly.
My question, I guess, is, and it was touched on earlier with somebody asking about what, if you believe that speech should be censored or what speech should be censored. My question is do you ever worry that people that have such bigoted views, that the more and more avenues that you take away from them for them to try and find their fellow brethren or whatever it is that they think that they're trying to do, the more avenues that you take away from them, the more you back them into a corner as far as them feeling like they can express their views. Do you ever worry that this is going to force some of these people to become more and more radical to the point of possibly acting out in violence?
Maybe that could happen. I don't know that there's a clear answer to that. I think that, like Jimmy said earlier, it's the company's decision when it comes to the platforming thing. I don't think that the government should step in unless they're active calls to violence and censor them. If they're just spouting off, horrible ideas that are, atrocious and that we would never say ourselves, they have the right to do that. and then they have to pay the consequences. But when in terms of platforming, those are private companies that set rules that these people agree to when they set up the account. And if they violate those rules that they agreed to when they set up that account, then those companies have every right to take that away. I don't think that you should be coddling to extremist groups out of any kind of fear towards them. You just have to. They agree to a certain set of terms. If they violate it, then they can fuck off.
I absolutely agree as far as not ruling them. Just because they've been backed into a corner is no rational justification for the use of force in any way, shape, or form. Nor do the people who back them into that corner bear responsibility for. I don't buy into this. Unless you're specifically calling to violence, just because you put out a bunch of horrible speech, that you're somehow responsible for somebody taking that speech and interpreting it in whatever crazy way they decide to take it and go out and do violence. You're not responsible for that. That was one of the things that Rationality Rules was hit with and was accused of, specifically saying you have blood on your hands, and I've got a huge problem with that. It's like, no, you don't. I just wonder, I always wonder what makes people act out so violently, because that's not even something that I can wrap my head around. It's not something I would ever consider doing, and I can't understand why somebody would do that. I was just wondering if anybody ever worried about that. I'm not specifically speaking about the PayPal issue, because that's a clear violation of the terms of service that they did, in fact, agree to.
And if you're interested, there's links in my description, just in case you want to peruse them yourself. Just saying.
Will you get that on a shirt already, Shannon? Jesus Christ.
Links in the description. Advocate for your own understanding.
I want to address the original question and address the fact that, like, there's been an explosion. There is no shortage of platforms right now. As far as what the internet did, while it's been amazing and the information age is incredible, it also created ways for these people to network like they hadn't before. And not just to network, but to mobilize and come to power and vote a Cheeto into office. This whole thing that is happening, they have more platforms than ever. I'm not convinced if you're backing them into a corner, it's a fucking ginormous ass corner. I would actually say right here, the thing we also need to address is when we are doing things like, it's kind of like the obvious metaphor. I think most people agree now that media should not be sensationalizing things like school shooters and stuff by sharing the names and the manifestos and talking about for days on end, because of the way it almost sexualizes, but certainly sensationalizes these acts and these kinds of ideas happening. And I think media also has to bear some level of responsibility to the extent to which they cover other similar things. So the fact that, like, for a good week, the biggest fucking thing we talked about in the world was should Alex Jones have been deplatformed is already ridiculous to me, because obviously he had broken those terms of services, and that should have been the end of that conversation. So there has to be a multi-layered, not simply just you're getting your platform taken away, so fuck you and deal with it over there. Also the way we treat it and talk about it later, the way it's covered by media, and the way we are, again, sensationalizing so they can take on the position of martyr. Now, I do think us versus them things happen all the time, and people like to do things to try and people get a lot of it's got to be some kind of psychological rush they get, some freaking hard nips they get over being the person, this most often self-appointed person, feeling like I am the authority on who is us and who is them, and it's what gets them off is trying to force people into those corners who don't even belong in that same corner in the first fucking place. So us versus them stuff, and the way that it does, one of the biggest damaging things to it isn't the violence from when you get backed into a corner, because I think those are based on a lot more things. What I actually think one of the biggest problems with us versus them narratives that are driven by individuals who deem themselves the authority rather than what actually plays out is you do at times take a person who they're not actually going to switch to team them, but their sympathy and empathy for Team Us is reduced, which causes a reduction in activism. And I think that is perhaps one of the bigger and more tragic problems with such a tactic.
Yeah. So I'm going to hearken to something that Jimmy said earlier, which is, you have the right to freedom of speech. Essentially means that you're free from persecution for the things that you say, unless they are in like a certain really segregated section of speech where you're directly threatening somebody. So you're free from persecution. Persecution. I'm Canadian. Shut up for a second.
Persecution. You are not free from. I will persecute.
From legal ramifications.
Yeah.
The government is not going to throw you in jail because I have an accent. So
she's from Nova Scotia, that New Scotland.
I'm from Nova Scotia, right? So, I completely lost track. But anyway, from prosecution for the things that you say, but that doesn't mean that you have the right to just go around saying anything the fuck you want to say unfettered. And it certainly doesn't mean that you just get to go on platforms, especially platforms that are businesses, and violate their terms of service. Now, if somebody violates the terms of service, if I was a business, I would want to know. That's why they exist. That's why the reporting functions exist. Now,
and that falls back to just contract law and tort at that point.
Right, precisely. And on top of that, I mean, the broader question, even ignoring platforms, like if you're just ignoring platforms, ignoring even having the ability to report anybody for anything, let's just pretend that doesn't exist, that you can't report anybody for anything. Your choice is essentially between combating it or letting it stand. That's where I'm falling. If I see something that's clearly like this person is not going to change their mind, they're advocating for essentially violence, and not even essentially, explicitly violence against groups of people, you have the choice between doing something about it or letting it stand. Backing them into a corner or otherwise, those are your choices. If you're going to talk yourself out of it because you don't want to back them into the corner because they may do something worse than the incredibly horrible crap they're already doing, then you're just giving them free rein to do the incredible, horrible crap that they're already doing. And again, I'll go back to what I said before. There is a spectrum. You need to use your judgment. Not always is it going to be as clear-cut as it is in the instance that we're discussing now. Sometimes you're going to need to be more measured. Not a hammer isn't the tool for every single job, but if there's a nail, use a hammer. That's all I'm saying. Assess the situation, do something about it, but be meticulous. Make sure you're assessing the context of the situation before you do it. But I'm telling you, right now, that's a nail, and we should all be picking up hammers.
Thank you, Sandrine.
Metaphorical. Metaphorical.
There's a term of service for a reason, and if you violate them, that should actually absolutely be reported for that violation. Nor do I think that if you start reporting violations and these platforms start kicking these people off, that you're somehow responsible for any subsequent violent actions on their part should they take them. I don't believe that you're responsible for that either. I'm a big fan of standing up for speech that you think is, or ideas, I should say, that you think are abhorrent, and pushing back strongly against them. I push it back against ideas and arguments that I actually agree with, mostly because I want to learn more.
Here's what you take away, Sandrine. You are a hammer, and everything in your path is a nail.
That's what Kyle picked up on what I said.
Thank you, buddy, for calling in. It's always good to talk to you, Sandrine. Thanks for calling in, man. Talk to you next time.
I've still been focusing on, does anyone remember that like 20 minutes ago, Shannon Q said the phrase, how did she put it? It's all there if anybody wants a nice, pretty package. And I've been just that phrase. I haven't been able to get over.
You'll be fine.
No one else caught it? Okay. I want to Kyle, I thought for sure.
I'm just really finding this new obsession that I like wearing leather. I'm finding a new me right now.
I actually want to respond to the comment you deleted. I'm not going to say who put it up, but someone was saying, congratulations, you're platforming someone with only 1,900 subscribers. A person's YouTube subscriber count does not reflect what their overall reach is. And if you're referring to people from this church, this is a multi-state, multi-country church that takes in millions of dollars every year.
We're the guys, not them.
He's a douchebag.
And if you don't like it, do something about it.
Yeah, you go fucking figure it out.
Complain to the people who are.
I have 185,000 subscribers on YouTube. I only have 1,000 Facebook friends, and I think I have less than that in Facebook followers on the Mr. Atheist page, which I don't ever touch. If someone just assessed me based on my Facebook reach, they would be completely wrong. Or if somebody assessed me just on how many people I could get gathered into a random building on a Tuesday or something, and they were a preacher who could outdo me. You can't compare a person's platform by some shitty numeric representation. And the fact of the matter is, they have impact. And I'm positive when I think about these things, because I do think about if I'm going to platform somebody who appears to be small. And what I'm always assessing is, do I think it is extremely likely that the number of people I pull from their side and the number of people I validate and the number of people I impact by engaging in this fight, will it be more than they get? Because new subscribers is not a fucking... Do you know how many subscribers Girl Define got from me? And they're all the ones hating their fucking comment. They're all the ones hitting the dislike. They're not people who like them and are now following them. So it's your assessment that that is remotely comparable is not one that was made on any intellectual basis.
Yeah. And he complains about everything when he's here, and like I don't like he's just somebody. He's a contrarian. He left a super chat a minute ago. I'll go ahead and knock it out of the way. It says, Kyle, I love you. I mean it. I don't even know who this Matt Powell guy is. That is my point. Well, just because you don't know who he is doesn't mean a damn thing. Almost everybody else here knows who he is, knows what a snake he is, knows how dangerous he is, knows the ideas that he spouts out, and knows why we fight actively against him. So just because you don't know who he is doesn't mean that your opinion matters one iota.
And let me make this clear. I just want to make something abundantly clear about this specific organization. They have multiple YouTube channels affiliated with multiple churches internationally. And each of those YouTube channels and each of those churches and each of those websites all have PayPal links where you can make credit card donations, and they all funnel into the same pile. So you looking at one channel that has some subs is just a drop in the pan compared to the network that they have built. That is how they insulate themselves, because you take one down, they have 20 more. But
and of course, all those can be found in the description of Shannon's channel.
They cannot open 1 million PayPal accounts, and I have a link directly to their churches, which host those YouTube channels, and they're all affiliates and conglomerates that all feed into the same church that are having this hate rally. So if you don't like the fact that we are talking about one channel, you have not spent any time looking at this. Look at it. Do something about it. Don't just complain to the people who are doing something about it.
Yeah.
Do something.
If he's talking specifically about Cupcake also, regarding the individual, first of all, that individual has already gotten national coverage. And again, same thing I said, you don't know about the size of their platform, you know the number of subs they have. But if you're talking specifically about they who I have deemed Cupcake, the other side of this also is that their message and idea has a larger and broader platform. People identify and see the need to act more quickly when you actually represent those ideas through the people that are spouting them. A lot of people are too afraid of the social consequences to spout the bullshit cupcake spouts. However, they still believe those things. And so there's still things that need to be addressed. And in the interest of activating people, it does make more sense to go after a person who has some platform and has had some level of coverage. And again, same thing, balanced out. I promise you, I steal more audience of theirs than they steal of mine.
And they shouldn't go unanswered.
Well said, both of you. Now we go to this is from Mr. Pumpkin. Tommy McMurtry is not a secret homosexual. It actually looks like Vandy, I believe. I think he took your name.
Hi. Whenever I say hi.
Guru of Chibis says Tommy McMurtry is 100% straight, not even a little bit gay. No siree. Remu says, I love your videos, Mr. Atheist.
Wait, real quick. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he's only attracted to female pumpkins.
I agree with that. Yeah, I stand behind that statement. 100%. But we should ask him.
Pumpkin's gender.
We don't know.
Envy Liger says, love you guys. Keep up the good work. Mike Mick says, hashtag Twinkie love, hashtag cream filling. Mike Mick again on the next episode. What's under Kyle's desk? Oh, you don't. That's a 3-parter.
Me after this show.
Kimura.
I have an idea.
Aromac says, props on getting Ocean involved. Faye Lirette says, I don't know if Tommy McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins, but I'm saying I'm definitely pump queer.
I'm pump queer.
Christopher Hansen. Christopher Hansen, why don't you just have a seat? Just have a seat. Have a seat right over there.
Oh, I love
have a seat.
Sending NFIB Twitter my drag pictures. Good for you. Mike Mick, I am unaware of. Yeah.
For the record, bringing up that they have a Twitter and now me repeating it, some people will think that that is making sure the audience is aware that they have a Twitter they could be tagged in. And I'm not doing that.
Definitely.
Yeah, neither
Definitely
am I.
not.
Like, just ignore the tweets that they were tagged in on my timeline today and pretend they're not there.
Yeah, I would definitely not advocate for you to tag them in everything that you do. Everything.
Don't do it.
No.
Do not.
I am. Mike Mick says I am unaware of Tommy McMurtry's squashophilia. Homing Ninja says first time super chatting on NonSec. I just wanted to say hello and thanks for all that you do. Would you consider having the man himself, Potholer 54, on? I would absolutely love to have Potholer 54 on.
I would love it if he came
I've
on.
reached out to him once and didn't get a response from him on Twitter. He might be just busy, but I would absolutely love to have him on. If you can facilitate that, then I would be forever grateful. Min says, awesome. If PayPal wants to allow those bigots to receive funds, let them. I have my faith in fellow American citizens, compassion to conquer bigotry. Because of you guys, I'm not afraid at all. I don't share that faith in humanity. I want to hit them at their pocketbooks and fuck their world up. Reed Charbonneau says the 313 area code is Detroit. Is that a relation? No, I just wanted the 666. That was the only area code that was available with a 666 number. Dim Sum says at Brian G. Trying to, but you don't like it, so you time me out. Okay. Occult Nitro says Land Daddy on the streets, Sky Daddy in the sheets, and Pumpkin Daddy with the YouTube. That's funny. Riddle's World, Bigfoot, top or power bottom? Bigfoot is definitely a power bottom. Everyone knows that. Reed Charbonneau says, what are your thoughts? Okay. This question is for the panel. What are your thoughts on Rationality Rules' latest video?
No, fuck off. Go to the next one.
Yeah. Reed, we are focusing on the issue at hand here with this church. We will address that at a later time, but this isn't the
not literally everything we do needs to be made about that.
There's too much to be said. Yeah, there's too much to be said about that, and we need to just table that for a different time.
Yeah.
Arson
I don't
Tony,
mean fuck off like I hate you as a person, but if that costs us a $2 super chat, send me an email and I'll send you a refund through PayPal.
No, it's fine. Like it's a fair question, and we will address that when the time's right.
And
but this was
cool
just not
guy.
the.
Reed's a cool
Yeah,
guy.
Reed's,
He's
this,
fine.
It
this
is.
is not the
I'm
time for that.
sorry. Just I want to focus on this and get this.
Yeah, we
one
will address
thing
that though.
to not be noted.
Caitlin, Chloe says, "Love you, fam." Go ahead.
Why does Cupcake think calling me Mr. Gaytheist? I've been calling myself a gaytheist for longer than I was sure I like dudes. Why do you
that's a
think
badge of
that's
honor.
cool?
Before
And
I came
then-
out
and
with
then it's
before NonSequitur, I was going to be the amazing atheist.
Yeah, like you're and then it's like a comment on my weight. I literally in 2 shows today shared my exact weight. You really got to go after things like how I never had a good relationship with my mother or something that actually bothers me. Good luck, though. There's some fuel. Give that one a shot.
And look, listen, Twink, we're not going to hear any kind of body shaming from you, okay?
Twink
Cupcake.
Powell. Oh my God, Twink Powell. That's better than Cupcake. Let's do Twink Powell, please.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, okay. Caitlin, Chloe, love you, fam. I'm not saying Tommy McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins, but we don't really know. Fun fact, pumpkins are berries. That is an interesting fact. Jason Leonard, David S. Pumpkins equals human on planet icon. Cajun Crustacean, don't send NIFB all of your risque pumpkin pics. Wink. Yeah, don't do that. Homing Ninja, you guys remember when the WBC picketed the Sandy Hook funerals and then got their websites taken down by anonymous hackers? Good times, wink, wink. Yeah, like we would never advocate for that, but if whatever happens. And before Shannon gets to her super chats, I just want to say, for the tomorrow, I have something that came up, and I am not going to actually be here tomorrow. I have the panel that Shannon and I, Eric Murphy, and Objectively Dan, moderated by Surus, was on, which was a great panel. That's going to premiere tomorrow. The furry porn star will be next Friday. I didn't want to miss that, and I rescheduled that. Also, next week's going to be a big week. We've got the furry porn star. We've got Noel Plum. We've got 2 Girls, 1 Mic. They run a podcast where they review porn and the acting in it, and they comment, like, we're going to be talking about The Walking Dead porn, and that's what they do. They review these porn, and they're hilarious. It's 2 Girls, 1 Mic. They're so funny. Make sure you check them out, and that will be next week. So it's porn week next week. Get excited.
Wow. All right, before I get started, I just want to say I don't want you to call him Twink Powell, because there's twinks that I like, respect, and adore, and I really wish that you wouldn't tarnish their good reputation, because
there's Matt's that I like and adore, but he's already fucking
yeah, but he
up.
was named that. I don't know. I don't like it, because
and I'm naming him Twink.
Some of them, like Jimmy's like, I don't give a fuck what you think.
Remember when I said the whole making yourself the authority over who's us versus them? I meant that for everyone else. I have that authority.
Look at Drew in the chat. Like me. Drew. Exactly.
Drew, what are you doing?
He's in the right chat this time. Don't you judge him. He's where he should be.
I see how it is, Drew. That's okay.
He was in the wrong chat last time. Now he's in the right chat.
So long for you to get to his super chat because he wants me to read lyrics to a song he wrote.
I know, bless his heart. I know. I'm gonna get there. Okay. So from McGay, Kyle's desk is going to get this demonetized. Oh, this was demonetized before it started, but that's okay.
Yesterday.
And Vibrantly Brantley, everyone should riot. This is why I don't use PayPal. Well, PayPal's being responsible. They have terms of service that clearly, thus far today, they have been holding people accountable to. So go PayPal, in my opinion, thus far. Lucifer, hi, Lucifer. I love this panel. Here, have my money. Oh, thank you. Duke Bonanza. I asked Mr. McMurtry a question on Facebook. I will have to go and check that out. X-Cult Baby. Oh, I was on her channel just before this doing Star Trek trivia with Telltale
X-Cult Baby, what are you doing over there?
She's in the right channel. Don't judge her. Everybody's where they're supposed to be. X-Cult Baby, greetings from me and my fiance, fellow members of the LGBTQIA+ community. We love you guys. It's good to see so much, to see such eloquent people speaking out about this topic. This BS needs to be countered with love and rationality. Thank you. And
Traitors, all of you.
You know what? I was on her channel earlier doing Star Trek trivia. Everybody should go check it out. And sub to XCult Baby too. She's awesome. She's an XJW. And she is hilarious. And
I know. I interviewed her last week.
Yeah, I know. And I hugged her first at Faithless Forum. So let's just fight about it. It's fine. Whatever. Pirate Kitty says, lines are totally busy. Yes, I know. I'm really sorry. Would you guys have as much of an issue with this Make America Straight conference if it was not being held specifically around the anniversary of the Pulse shooting? Yes, absolutely is my answer, 100%.
Yeah, that changes nothing.
That's salt to the wound as far as I'm concerned, though, because I used to go to Pulse when I lived in Orlando before I moved to Colorado last time.
It's just
and it was just I used to actually enjoy the nightclub, and it pisses me off that happened. There's a lot of people. I didn't know any of the specific people that were victims of it, but just the fact that they want to take that incident and make it
Yeah,
like
that changes nothing.
It makes them just as bad as the Westboro Baptist Church.
It's possible that it would have never even made it to my emails or Reddit if it wasn't so insightful, but had a Make America Straight Again conference been held anywhere and it got in front of me, I would have still been extremely incited. But like Dave says, it was definitely salt in the wounds.
Yeah, it's just it's another straw on the camel's back. You know what I mean? Like, who knows which one of those straws it was that broke it? But I mean, it's a prevalent and important and pertinent detail because it speaks to the absolute insurmountable case for their assholery. Like, if it wasn't clear enough, that's got to make it clear.
Right.
I mean, I think it was already pretty clear, but here's another piece of evidence. It's like if I shoot you in the face in front of a bunch of cameras and there's a bunch of witnesses, the last witness,
Dick Cheney did
it's
that.
another witness.
And Trump
But,
still
I mean, the case is pretty solid already. All right, so the next one is Kyle Sherman. You can also report the Liberty Baptist Church to WordPress for violation of terms. Then they lose their hosting of their website. That's the thing you could do too if you were so inclined independently. I would not.
It depends on if WordPress hosts. If it's a WordPress.blog kind of thing, yes. But more likely they have an actual domain host that uses WordPress as an overlay, because technically I'm sure they have somebody who's a programmer in their audience somewhere that would be able to just basically export the entire website. So you actually have to go after the host, not the web builder they use.
Not that Jimmy would endorse it, but those are the details required if that's something that you would be interested in doing.
And
Somebody asked in the chat what the fuck is going on behind Kyle, and I just want to say this is live video feed from Liberty Baptist Church of Tommy McMurtry.
And if you don't believe it, go check out TommyMcMurtry.com.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Can I also mention I published TommyMcMurtry.com before. I still haven't published MrAtheist.com. I haven't even really started it. I own the domain and that's it. The TommyMcMurtry.com is a higher priority.
You're doing God's work.
All right. Oh, Min. Who dares report Shannon? She is my brain. Oh, bless you, Min. All right. I'm skipping over you, Drew. I'm going to do you last. Don't panic. It's fine. Mentally diseased. Oh, I love mentally diseased. Another channel you really need to go subscribe to. What other goodies has Kyle got handy under his desk? I don't want to know.
Find out Sunday at choir practice.
Kyle's going to have my handy under his desk as soon as the show's over.
Oh my God, in heaven, every goddamn time.
I've never been jack-o'-lanterned off by a pumpkin before.
This is my life, everybody. This is my real life. These are people that are my friends. These are conversations that happen in my real life off of live stream. Only they're more explicit. All right. So Unholy Sarah who is also fantastic. She's a new content creator, and she's wonderful. You should go subscribe to her. I wasn't attracted to pumpkins until today. Well,
yo, mood
know.
though. Listen, I'm not saying that I am now a pumpkin file, but some of the images y'all have been sending me, I thought I had my sexuality figured out like as of this year. Thanks for fucking with that. I'm just kidding. I love it though.
We had that conversation before the stream, and he's actually not lying about that. That's
I'm not.
Maddie B in the
these are
chat.
things that happen.
Maddie B in the chat. Vandy just said that he accidentally. I saw that you just sent a super chat. I think Vandy accidentally timed you out, so that was not on purpose. So once you're timed out, you'll be able to come back. That was just an accident. So just want to clarify that. Thank you for the super chat. I'll read it in just a second.
Fast. Okay, so Dave Meyer 68 says Florida loves you. We love Florida too, especially Florida man. He is hours and hours.
Not all of us like Florida. Not all of us love Florida.
I
lived in Florida for 4 years.
I don't like Florida, and I fucking live here, so
we tolerate Florida.
I like plenty of Floridians, but I'm done with Florida.
All right. Constant Chaos says, I'm not saying Tommy loves pumpkins, but I woke up to a hole in all my gourds. And last but not least, genetically modified skeptic.
You want to say that for the extra last? You want to say that for the very last?
We can do it extra last, yes, because
okay.
I don't want to hear about it.
Let me read these last couple.
Ready.
Okay, so Reed says, "Sorry guys, didn't mean to sideline you. Love you guys. It's okay. It was, like I said, it was a fair question, and we will get to it. We definitely will get to it." Taliesin Overlander says, "Matt Powell, do you enjoy butt play?" He absolutely does. Absolutely. Jason Leonard says, "Off topic, but it's G Mang's birthday. Hail Satan." Oh God. Oh man.
Hail Satan.
And then the message for Maddie was accidentally deleted by Vandy, so I'm going to try to find that real quick.
I don't know if you can actually get that back. Like, you might have to type it
Yeah.
to him when he comes back in.
Yeah, type it again and I'll read it. I'm sorry about that, but like I said, he didn't mean to do that. Vandy, get your hand off the fucking mouse. All right, go ahead.
I'm just gonna block everyone in the chat. That's what's happening.
All right.
That's good.
Before Duke just put another one in that said, Florida, the phallus of America. Thank you, Duke. So Drew, genetically modified skeptic, who, all right, I like him. He's all right. He's okay. Said, Jimmy should read the Pumpkin Gang lyrics that I sent him. You ready, Jimmy?
Do it.
Pumpkin game, pumpkin game, pumpkin game, pumpkin game. Oh man, pumpkin's hard to say fast. Pumpkin game, pumpkin gang, pumpkin gang. Spend 10 racks on a domain. McMurtry smells like Rogaine. Fucked up a bigot. I forgot his name. Tommy's gonna have to sell his wedding ring. I don't even know the Gucci Gang song. That's it. By the way, I spent 20 racks on the domain. I'm actually gonna plug this real quick. I spent $20 on that, and then for the foreseeable future, I'm gonna be spending $12 a month on Squarespace to host that domain. And then I also have some financial plans regarding some SEO boosting as well. So anybody who wants to help out with that, you can PayPal me, dearmratheist@gmail.com. Links are also in the descriptions of my video. But, you know, if anybody wants to assist in making this an internet nightmare for Tommy, that's out there.
Or as Shannon would say, report him. Look into what he does and report him. Right?
Porque no los dos.
Decide for yourself if you would like to report him because he's violated terms of service on platforms that he utilizes. That's not up to me. That's up to you. Advocate for your own understanding. Always look at the source material and make decisions for yourself.
Jimmy, I would never advocate for people to report you. This shows you where your true friend is. I just want to say.
Pumpkin game, pumpkin game, pumpkin game. Someone made me rap. Talking about true.
Okay, Maddie B. Thank you for all the work you do. Love your show. I wish it wasn't necessary, but I'm glad people are speaking up. Keep your sexy pumpkin selves. Also, I am a she. LOL. Thank you, Maddie. I appreciate that very much. And sorry about you getting timed out, but Bandy gets a little trigger happy. Hi. Kyle, you and Jimmy are going to host. Kyle, are you and Jimmy going to host Make America Gay Again? Oh,
yeah.
I actually
Ooh.
posted that somewhere because it also has the acronym MAGA. I'm trying to remember where I actually posted. Somewhere today I posted Make America Gay Again. But
do you
I
remember
don't
us?
remember.
Our one of our very first streams together was Independence Gay.
Yeah, that was the best. We used to do every holiday. Well, I guess we still do. We just haven't had a national holiday like that since that. Well, I guess Memorial Day just happened, but one where everybody gets
We
the
did
day
Thanksgiving.
off. I guess
Remember Thanksgiving together? We did.
Yeah, we did, and Christmas.
And Christmas.
I think. Yeah. So
we did.
Independence
We done all the
Day is
holidays
coming
together.
up. Independence Day is coming up. I think we're gonna have round 2.
We missed Memorial Gay.
Yeah, but I didn't forget to be gay.
We have Veterans Gay coming up. St. Patrick's Gay. Valentine's Gay.
St. Patrick's. There's way more shit between now and St. Patrick's.
Yeah,
I actually think we did do Valentine's Day. I
We
think
did.
we did. That was my
Because we're
1-year
both-
anniversary of
we're
my
both-
channel.
There's
We're
Christmas
both losers
Gay.
and
Christmas Gay.
not out with anybody.
Thanksgiving Gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the big ones are the
We're gonna-
ones where everybody gets off of work. So basically Independence Day, the real one, not Shannon's silly fake one.
We call it
Thanksgiving.
Canada Day. You abject asshole. We're a different country.
Listen, you know how well. Here's how I imagine the Canadian Revolution going on. The Canadians walking up,
No revolution.
walking up with a nice little well-worded
Everybody went to
piece of
Prince
paper
Edward
and say,
Island,
"We'd
and
like
they
to be on
all
our
had
own,
a
eh?"
meeting. No.
Okay.
No. Everybody went to Prince Edward Island, and we all had a meeting. And the
Okay.
Queen sent the Governor General.
Just
The
slowly
Governor
fade her
General
out,
said,
Dave.
"No, you
Just
can have your own
fade her sound
independent
out just
Commonwealth."
very calmly, like she's just going to, just cool. Thank you, Dave.
Every day is Independence Day for Canada
There
because
was that
every
time we
day they
burned down the White
celebrate.
House, though. Do you remember
Every
that?
day they celebrate that we don't just walk across the border and tell them it's ours, because what would they do about it?
Because the last time you tried, we burned down the White House, and you guys were like, "Okay, sorry."
Yeah, and we built a.
Yeah, I'm
we
not
needed a
really
new one
attached-
anyway.
What's going to happen to the U.S. if they attack Canada? Let's be real.
Okay, listen, I'm not advocating for the attacking of Canada by by the United States, but are you suggesting that Canada would win that altercation?
Yes.
No,
Are
I'm
you suggesting that
arrest
seriously?
I'm suggesting that if you guys are stupid enough to attack Canada unprovoked, that literally the entire that is the equivalent of
that's
kicking
totally-
a puppy
yeah,
in front of a stadium full of people.
First of all, we wouldn't invade. We'd literally cross the border and be like, "This is ours,"
Yeah.
and then Canada would be like,
No,
"We're
you
sorry,
wouldn't.
we were
Exactly.
even here. We're
There would
sorry,
be no
we were
invasion.
even
Cross the
away."
border and be like, "It's ours," and we'd be like, "Okay."
There would
We'd
be
like,
no
"Oh, fuck
invasion.
yourself."
Perfect for you.
It would just be like, hey, we're taking that back, and that would be the end of it.
But Shannon, the good news is we'd give you Alaska. Fucking take it.
Yeah, please.
Take Minnesota
Zod's
too.
in Alaska.
Actually,
I'll take Alaska. I love
You know,
Zod. Zod's in
oddly
Alaska.
enough, I did at one point I did call Shannon the atheist Sarah Palin.
Yeah, you did.
fuck.
You did.
Oh my god.
During the
Okay,
course
there's-
of a massive diatribe of him being an asshole that I had to sit through. It was
We
a
need a lot more
nightmare.
adjectives besides atheist
What are you
if
doing?
we're gonna get close.
What are you putting up
I
on
don't
your
know what's going on
screen?
back there.
Kyle, what's wrong with you?
I'm waiting for the pumpkin
I don't
man.
understand
Have you not
what's
been
going
paying
on
The
at
attention?
pumpkin man went away. It's some sort of weird
Pumpkin man,
headless,
pumpkin
sort of
man,
pumpkin
bodiless
man.
weatherman.
We need to get out of here before we're
Yeah, this
tanking
is
right
flying
now.
off
guys.
the rails.
Yeah,
Waiting-
we're
This is
done.
what happens with every conversation we have in real life, in case anybody's wondering.
Check out Mr. Atheist. Check out Shannon Q. The links are in the description to, as Shannon has told you 900 times, to everything that you need to get rid of these parasites. Where can they find that again, Shannon? I forgot.
The links are in my description, as well as the subsection of the PayPal terms of service and ethical conduct that they may or may not be violating. Please feel free to let us know on Twitter and in DMs and on our channels and in the comments section down below what you find out when you go perusing, looking through all of the list of churches that I've provided for you, as well as the links to all of the relevant PayPal information. let us know how that goes for you. Make your own decisions.
I feel like right now I look like a 1920s gangster. Hey, Jimmy, I'm gonna let you take us out tonight. What you got?
All right. I'm Jimmy Snow. I don't know. That video is coming out tomorrow. That same clip that we showed earlier. Make sure you find it. Watch it in its entirety. This is important for SEO, not me just being a whore. Then go search for the terms in the title, find the video again, and watch it in its entirety. It'll take you can do that like 5 times in 10 minutes. And that will assure that when people look for those terms, the first thing they see is our honest desire to find out whether or not Tommy McMurtry is attracted sexually to pumpkins. So we need to know. We should ask.
Everybody needs to know. Somebody should ask him.
Yeah. And then otherwise, go to my channel. All my other support links are there. Send me money. PayPal, dearmratheist@gmail.com. We're going to put it into AdWords.
I don't know, or I'm not saying that Pastor McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. I'm just saying we don't know.
Yeah,
We don't
I'm
know.
not saying that Pastor McMurtry Tommy McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins, but I mean, we just don't know.
I'm not saying that Pastor Tommy McMurtry is sexually attracted to pumpkins. I don't know. We don't know. We should ask him.
We should ask him.
We should ask him. He has a Facebook.
I'll say fuck you.
Ask him.
We should
Fuck you, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Are we still on the air? Because
are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
I hope not, because that was fucking horrible.
I'm calling it.
Good night, everybody.